Hi, this is Andre. I've decided to start putting some more of my grid patches available for download. This was a Waveshaper that I made a tutorial on how to build about a year ago, and I had some requests for me to just upload it, so I decided to finally just do that. And I'll have a link in the description for where you can download it. Here's an example of it just processing a straight sine wave. And then here's an example of it being used in a larger synth patch. Okay, and so as you can see, there's 3 of them in this patch. This patch was kind of built around them, but I'm only using one of them on this actual patch. It's just being used on operator B, which is FMing operator A. So yeah. All right, so let's get back into here. So I'll give you a quick rundown of what all the features are, how this thing works. So basically, the idea behind this is that it splits the positive and negative phase of a signal and allows you to process them signals separately. And for each one, you can morph between the different Waveshapers that are included in the grid and morph the amounts. And this idea was very influenced by Minimal Audio's Rift, which is one of my favorite plugins. I use it all the time. If you haven't used Rift, Rift also splits the positive and negative phase of a signal and distorts them properly. But Rift does a lot of other things too, and it has amazing distortion algorithms and stuff. Yeah, so this wasn't really meant to like use instead of it. It was just kind of inspired by it, and I thought it'd be a fun thing to try to do in the grid. So yeah, so basically, like I was saying, we have plus distortion, minus distortion. As you can see, they're color coded. So plus distortion is green, minus distortion is purple. We have our crossover over here. We have the split type, which I'll get to in a second, this warp thing, and wet dry. So if I change anything on either side, you'll just see that side changing. So like if I add distortion to the green, you'll just see the green part change. And then if I move the crossover, you'll see them change. And then if I start adding distortion to the purple, you'll see that change. All right, so yeah, I think that's all pretty straightforward. And now, if you another option we have over here is split type. So what that does is you can see if I flip it there, it's going to flip the purple and green. So now it's going to be so basically green will be the negative phase, purple will be the positive. If we put it in the center, what it does is it actually processes them in a different way. The purple now becomes the edges, and the green is the center. So now you can see the green is over there. If I move the crossover, the green will get bigger. And then this warp thing down here was kind of just an afterthought. Well, it was actually like an accident. What happened was when I was making this, I accidentally assigned a bunch of parameters onto this macro knob, and they just sounded good for the settings I have. But it's going to sound completely different depending on what your settings are. For some settings, it'll sound bad. Some it'll sound good. It's just kind of like a macro knob. Let me see what happens if I put it down here. So yeah, you can see it's going to do something totally different depending on what your patch is doing. But yeah, you can sometimes find some sort of nice happy accident. And you can see there too, I actually had the split type in between the two. So you can morph the split types, but it can sound a little weird. And then as you can see, there's different, so the oscilloscope's down here. If the red one is the dry signal, so it's just a sine wave right now, this one is the final output. So this is the waveform we're getting. And then I'll explain the ones up here. And like I mentioned earlier, this is really meant, or I don't know if I mentioned that, but I should have. So this is really meant to be part of like a bigger synth patch. You know, on its own with the sine wave, it's okay, but it's really kind of meant to be used inside of a larger synth patch. So like, I mean, just to start with, if we were just to give this thing, let's say, a little bit of detuned FM, you're going to immediately get a lot more interesting movement out of it. Anyway, getting a little carried away, but as you can see, you can get all sorts of pretty weird waveforms out of, especially just this being, you know, one sine wave just with a little bit of FM on the other one, and this is like the final output waveform. If I turn off the FM, you'll see that. But yeah, so cool. Hopefully people enjoy this patch. I am going to put it up for free on the Bitwiggers page. If you do find it useful in your production, a donation would be cool. I'll have a link for that in the description too. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.